Hello, everyone. I'm Kikutani. Today's topic is the fundamental issue of happiness and death, as taught by Buddha. I received the following comment. According to research from Harvard University, the biggest component of our happiness is good relationships with others. Buddhism, however, tells us to walk alone like a rhinoceros horn, so the research is probably wrong. This is the comment I received. Harvard is pretty well known for its research. They've been surveying 700 people over the course of 75 years on their level of happiness, and the survey is still ongoing. They found that good relationships are the biggest factor in our happiness. I think a lot of people will agree with this. Psychologist Alfred Adler also said that all problems are interpersonal relationship problems. Certainly, if your interpersonal relationships are bad, that's a troublesome and painful thing, whereas being blessed with good relationships brings a sense of happiness. But Buddhism teaches that we should walk alone like a rhinoceros horn. This is a well-known quote from Shakyamuni. An Indian rhinoceros only has one horn, and so it is taught in Buddhism that like this lone horn, we too should go alone. If Buddhism teaches that we should resolutely go it alone, then the kind of happiness it teaches of is probably different from the kind of happiness that the Harvard survey is about. Of course, various Buddhist texts also teach that our connections with others are important, and that they can have a great influence on our lives, so it is not that Buddhism rejects the research from Harvard. However, it does teach that some things do need to be done alone. Buddhism teaches that our fundamental problem is something we each have to confront for ourselves, and that fundamental happiness is something we each have to gain for ourselves too. So today I would like to talk about the fact that Buddhism teaches that the fundamental problem and happiness of life are each person's own responsibility, and what exactly that means. Today I will talk about these points. First is attaining salvation is your own responsibility. Second, the Miscellaneous Agama Sutra. Third, at the moment of death. Attaining salvation is your own responsibility can be rephrased as, the afterlife is your own responsibility. Resolving the matter of what will happen to us after death is each individual's own responsibility. This is what Master Renyo taught. Shakyamuni Buddha taught that humans live a life headed for death. He taught that all people are on a small boat headed downstream on a rapidly moving river, at the end of which is the waterfall of death. So what happens when we fall down that waterfall? We don't know our destination. This is the crucial matter of the afterlife. All 8 billion people are aboard a small boat. The waterfall of death will suddenly appear at some point. Then everything will tumble down. So what happens after that? No one knows. Buddhism teaches that there is no issue more serious than this matter of the afterlife. What Harvard found about good relationships and Adler's statement, that all problems are interpersonal relationship problems, are to do with life on the boat. There are various people other than ourselves on board. Issues like being hated by others or wanting recognition from others all take place on this boat. We swing between joy and sorrow based on whether we profit or lose out, or get praised or face hatred. When it comes to how we can be happy on this boat, as Harvard University found, good relationships are important. However, all we see are these things that happen on this boat. But when we take a broader look at life and ask ourselves where this boat is headed, we realize that there is a far more serious issue for us to deal with. That is the crucial matter of the afterlife. Buddhism teaches, in the face of death, there are no friends nor foes, no praise nor censure. When confronting death, no one is our friend and no one is our enemy. There is also no praise nor censure. No one praises us, no one slanders us, and no one insults us. While going about life on the boat, we get depressed or elated depending on whether we win things or lose things, look down on others or get looked down on. But when the boat approaches the roaring waterfall, and we realize we might fall down it at any time, we see there is a much bigger issue at hand. At this point, we have no friends nor enemies. We have to grapple with and resolve this crucial matter on our own. This is our own huge problem. It has nothing to do with trivial things like doing or not doing things because of what everyone else is doing, or because of praise or scorn. One housewife expressed this in a memoir after being diagnosed with cancer. When I learned that I had cancer, I was truly shocked. It felt like a sudden punch to the head. I'd heard stories of cancer patients, but never did I imagine it had happened to me. Everything suddenly became distant to me. My husband, my children, the whole world seemed to be separated from me by a curtain, leaving me all alone. I was now, after all, face to face with the reality that I would soon die and leave this world. I had all sorts of dreams I wanted to accomplish. I still hadn't accomplished most of them. I was aghast to realize that once I died, no matter how unfinished I was with life, I would leave with my goals remaining unfulfilled. This is what she wrote. She said everything suddenly seemed to become distant from her. Matters like her husband acting cold, her children not getting good grades, political issues, the fluctuating value of the yen. It all seemed to be separated from her by a curtain, leaving her all alone on the other side, because she was now face to face with the reality that she would soon die and leave this world. Her focus had solely been on things that happened on the boat, like what was happening with her husband, her children, society, grades, wages, etc. But then she heard the roar of the waterfall. Suddenly everyone else was separated from her by a curtain, and she was all alone. She knew she would have to face the fact that she would soon die, and leave this world completely on her own. This is the most serious issue of life, one that we will not notice until it is finally our turn to go. We have no awareness of this issue until we are confronted by our own impending death. Until then, we only know about things that happen on the boat. We will only be startled out of this, once we realize that we too must face the waterfall of death. Since this great problem is something we must face alone, it is taught that the afterlife is each person's own responsibility. The Miscellaneous Agama Sutra, a collection of Shakyamuni's teachings, contains the story of a man with 3 wives. There was once a wealthy man who lived with 3 wives. However, that man became incurably ill. Realizing that the time of his death was soon to come, he desired to be accompanied across the mountain road of death, feeling that dying alone would be lonely. As for his 3 wives, the first wife was the one the man cherished the most, and she was always with him. If she was hot, he would fan her, and if she was cold, he would give her blankets and warm clothes. He strove to keep her happy the most. Wherever they went, she was with him. That's how much the man adored the first wife. The man didn't love the second wife quite as much, but he had competed with others to win her hand. She was a very beautiful woman, so everyone had wanted to marry her and the man had to fight them all off. Because of this, he was attached to her and took care of her. The third wife was not with the man as often as the other 2, but she was very kind-hearted. When the man said he was happy, she would rejoice along with him, and she would also empathize with his pain when he would come to her in hard times. So these were the 3 wives that this man had, but then he became incurably ill. Knowing that his death was approaching, the man felt it would be lonely to die alone and wanted to be accompanied over the mountain road of death. He therefore begged each of his wives to come with him. First, he asked his first wife, "Oh, please, would you die with me and accompany me over the mountain road of death?" To this, the first wife responded, "I will never forget your kindness towards me, but please excuse me, I do not want to come with you. Please go on your own." His first wife curtly refused his request. Next, he asked his second wife. She said, "I only became your wife because you wanted me. When you're gone, I will go and marry another man who wants me. So you can go alone. Even your first wife refused you, did she not? I will not come with you." Another blunt refusal, this time from the second wife. Next, the man begged his third wife to come with him. She said, "I will never forget your kindness towards me, but please forgive me. I can accompany you to the edge of town, but no further. Please go alone after that." And with that, he had been refused by all of his wives. The man traveled across the mountain road of death all alone. So what do the first wife, the second wife, and the third wife represent? The first wife represents the physical body. We're very careful about our physical health all the time. We'll eat if we're hungry, sleep if we're tired, put on extra clothes when cold, and cool ourselves when hot. We'll also rest up if we even feel slightly feverish. Our health is what's most important to us, so we pay special attention to it. We place importance on looking after our bodies by doing things like exercising and moderating our meals. We're always trying to make sure we don't fall ill. That's what the first wife represents. That's why she was always with her husband. The second wife represents things like money, possessions, and status. Other people want these things too, so we compete with others in order to get them. Becoming rich means having defeated others to gain money and possessions. And gaining status means having defeated others to get there, since other people would have wanted it too. This is what the man defeating his rivals to win the second wife's hand in marriage represents. Even so, the second wife refused to follow him in death. However much money and possessions we gain, we will have to leave it all behind. We might obtain more of these things than we can use and obsess over them in life, but however protective we are of them and however much we strove to gain more, once we reach the end of our lives, we will have to leave them all behind. When we die, we won't even be able to take a single coin with us. All our money will go to other people. Sometimes it only causes our children to fight with each other. We will have to leave behind everything we had accumulated, and go to our death stark naked. The third wife represents our family and friends. They celebrate with us in happy times, and console us in sad times. That's the role that family and friends play for us. This is what that research from Harvard on good relationships was referring to. However blessed we are with family and friends though, they won't come with us when we die. Accompanying the husband to the edge of town means accompanying us as far as the crematorium when our funeral is held. So no matter how much of a rapport we had with them, when we die, we will have to part from all of them and go completely alone. This is what Shakyamuni's parable in this sutra is conveying to us. Shakyamuni Buddha composed this parable because he wanted us to be aware of the crucial matter of the afterlife, which we fail to notice. Regarding the crucial matter of the afterlife, Master Renyo said as follows: at the moment of death, nothing one has previously relied on, whether wife and child or money and treasure, will accompany one. At the end of the mountain road of death, one must cross the river all alone. At the moment of death, when it finally comes time for us to die, everyone accepts that they must die someday, but the time will come when someday becomes now. For all people, including me and you, the time will come when death is imminent. The part after this in the quote expresses something we won't know until then. Nothing one has previously relied on, whether wife and child or money and treasure. In life, we will have firmly believed in and cherished our spouses, children, money, and possessions, thinking these to be things that make us happy. And so we have previously relied on wife and child and money and treasure. None of them will accompany one. When it comes time for us to die, we can't take a single one of them with us. In the example of the waterfall, wife and child, money and treasure are things that bring us happiness on the boat. But all of them will tumble away when we die. So none of them will accompany one. At the end of the mountain road of death, one must cross the river all alone. Where exactly will we go when we die? What happens once we go to our deaths alone? What awaits us is a pitch-black future. This is expressed as, at the end of the mountain road of death, one must cross the river all alone. This is the crucial matter of the afterlife taught of in Buddhism. It is the fundamental source of life's suffering. There is life's suffering and there is everyday suffering. Everyday suffering is to do with things on the boat, the things we cherish like wife, child, money, and treasure. It's to do with relationships, like in the research from Harvard. If these wants are satisfied, then we can get by without feeling like we're suffering. Even so, Buddha taught, everyone is afflicted by a fundamental, existential kind of suffering. So then, what is this life's suffering? It's what Master Renyo spoke of, the fact that we must each die alone, and the question of where we will go when we die. So this isn't about competing with anyone, nor is it something that another person can fix for us. It's not about winning or losing, nor is it something we either do or don't do based on whether we're praised or scorned. It is each person's own responsibility. Each individual must earnestly face what is within and seek resolution themselves. This is what is taught. Buddhism teaches the path to resolving the crucial matter of the afterlife and attaining true happiness. No matter how much you try to relieve your everyday suffering, it will not lead to the true happiness that you were born to attain, which is happiness that makes you rejoice at being born. You can attain true happiness the moment you resolve life's suffering. Buddhism, the teachings of Buddha, lead you to instantaneously resolve life's suffering and attain true happiness. This is what I'd like you to know. I would like you to be well aware of what it is that is taught in Buddhism. On this channel, I approach the teachings from a variety of angles, so if you feel you can learn something from my videos, I'd be delighted if you'd subscribe to my channel and give my videos a watch. Thank you for watching this video.